Welcome to Nasdaq TradeTalks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us at the MarketSite studio in Times Square, New York City, we have Dillian. He's the author of Street Freak, Money and Madness at Lehman Brothers, most recently, The Bastards. And we're going to discuss the intersection of life in general and finance. Jared, it's great to have you with us. Welcome back to Trade Talks. And I've known you for over a decade now since we were both contributing at The Street. And to see your career evolve as a writer in finance and just about life in general is quite incredible. What's that evolution been like for you?
You know, I've spent a 24-year career in finance, and getting a little bored with it. There's some other stuff I want to do. Unfortunately, that's what pays the bills. You know what I mean? I've been writing my newsletter, the Daily Dirtnap, for 15 years. It's been very successful. I have over 4,000 subscribers. I love doing it, but this book has nothing to do with finance at all. It's about life. It's about meaning. It's really it's a very, very cool book, and I like to you know, this is the writing that I really like to do.
Yeah,
So.
well, let's get a picture of that up here. I'm about halfway through, as those of you can see from my wrinkled pages here. Jared's third book, which, by the way, you have a fourth one coming out in January 2024.
Yeah, that's called No Worries, How to Live a Stress-Free Financial Life. And the thesis behind that book is that, you know, most of the personal finance books out there really tell you how to be a millionaire or how to make the most money or get rich in real estate or stuff like that. What this book tells you, it's really not about making the most money. It's about being happy. It's about to have a life with minimal financial stress. So that, like I said, that's coming out in January of 2024. I hope that is a really, really big book. It's a message that a lot of people need to hear.
I mean, your background's so interesting. You served in the Coast Guard, right?
Yep.
Appreciate your service. Thank you for that. Traded at Lehman. Doing all this writing, is there one part of your career that you liked better or not, or do you just kind of always need a new project?
It's funny because I'm finishing up grad school right now, and
congratulations.
My wife said, you're going to need a new challenge. So I do have something that I'm working on doing starting in 2024. I can't really talk about it, but I do have, it's in the financial industry, and it's something I'm really excited about. So
yeah, it's really interesting. Like yourself, I am graduating from grad school, and it's, you know how that feels when you finally hand in your final research thesis or you finally get the draft in for your book. It's like that relief, right? It's a little bit of pressure that's taken off, but in the next sentence, I'm thinking, what do I want to do next? I can't imagine not having a project at hand, and it's regardless of what the goal is. It's relative to everyone.
Yeah, well, this book was actually a project for grad school. This was part of a class called Writing for Digital Communication, where you had to start a blog. And so these essays really started out as blog entries, and then I got the idea that I'd make them into a book. And the thesis for grad school is actually No Worries, the book that's coming out next year. So, you know, in the 3 years that I went to school, I got 2 books out of it, and it's terrific.
Yeah, well, I mean, every time I get an alert that you have a new piece out on Substack, kind of makes my day. But you have been consistently talking about the significance of getting your MFA. It's something that you have always wanted to do as it relates to your writing. What does it mean, getting your MFA? Why is that important to you?
Well, when I initially graduated from college in '96, I was an accomplished writer in high school and college, and I decided I wanted to be a writer. And after I left the Coast Guard, I was going to get my MFA and be a professor somewhere and write short stories and stuff like that. And my mom actually talked me out of it. She says, you're not going to make any money, you're going to be miserable, this is a terrible idea. So
Lehman's a better idea.
So yeah, so I got my MBA instead, and I went to Lehman, and I had a very successful Wall Street career, you know, made some money and all that stuff. But this was the path not taken. This was unfinished business, you know, and it was 3 years ago that I went camping with my wife, and I was up late at night, and I said, gosh, you know, maybe I should go back and do it. I was 46 years old at the time, and I said, I'm going to go back and do it, and so that's what I did.
Yeah, I was 45 when I made the decision to go back to grad school, and I totally get it. I'm also of the camp that there's always a reason to educate yourself, and it just doesn't stop once you get a piece of paper.
Yeah.
You know, having served, you were on Lehman, you're writing, you know, tens of thousands of words a day. You're also DJing.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, it's kind of a jack of all trades here.
Yeah, I don't do as much music as I'd like to. I think once I'm done with school, I'll do a little bit more music than I have in the past. You know, I do throw parties in New York about every 5 or 6 months or so. I get some gigs around the country, not a lot, but it's a cool hobby, and I've been doing it for 15 years. You know, and I've gotten pretty good at it. So.
All right. Well, I can't wait to hear about the next chapter, Jared. Appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks, and thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.